water?
Yeah, and boil it first. Bring that to the boil, right, and then add the milk. Now that will make. Hang on,
This is amazing.
we use the turbo lighter.
Oh, turbo lighter.
Yeah, let's see.
It's not just a lighter.
Turbo.
It's a
Turbo lighter.
Okay.
Who are you? What do you do?
Okay, I'm Jordan, and I manage a cafe. You wouldn't know by the way that I just made that hot chocolate, but that's not normal, by the way. That's really not normal. Yeah, I guess when Laura asked me to share my testimony, I was thinking, well, is that the story of how I came to know that God is real? Or is it just the story of my whole life, or what? And all I keep thinking about is the reality of God in my life, and how that's affected and changed me. So the whole story of my life comes out of coming to know Him, essentially. And you know, without His goodness, I actually wouldn't be alive. So yeah, I kind of grew up with an understanding of who God was, but that was very limited, in the sense that it was just by what people told me, and I believed it because that's what you do when you're a kid. And then I began to question it when difficult things in my life happened. And I just thought, well, if God's good and He's real, because that's what I've been told, then those things wouldn't have happened. And I was just really shaken up by the whole thing, and just let go of any idea that He existed, basically. And that kind of started a journey that was difficult and caused a lot of pain to me and people around me. Because I made decisions based on the fact that basically no one loved me. And I was very selfish and very messed up, really. And started to look for other things and try and work out answers to questions, because I think just as humans in general, we like to have reasons for everything. We don't explain things as being just by chance or consequence, because that doesn't fit any mould that we can understand. And I wanted to understand God. I wanted to explain Him. I wanted to know why things happened and put everything in the box of my head, basically. And it was too much to be held in here. So yeah, I basically ended up just getting very depressed. I just felt like I was carrying this huge burden of things that had happened with no way of dealing with it and no way of explaining it away. And so I blamed myself, I blamed the people around me. Just ended up not having a reason to do anything, really. And decided after a while I didn't even have a reason to live, and it sounds really dramatic, but it just spiraled so quickly, because the fact is I put myself in charge of my life. I put my logic as my God, and it just didn't work. And I looked for answers in other things, and that didn't work, and just got worse and worse. And I got to the point where my parents are Christians, and they've been praying for me and been really wonderful and amazing. And that kind of hurt me more, because I felt awful that I was hurting them because of my decisions and because of the things that I was doing to myself. And we had a huge argument, basically, and I was like, right, the only answer is for me to just be out of here. And I tried running away, and that didn't work. And so I was like, right, I'm just gonna die, actually, because there's nothing worth living for. I'm a mess, I'm not helping anyone, I'm not helping myself, I'm not helping my parents. If I'm gone, then that's the answer, and that's the point that I got to. And it wasn't immediate, it took a while to get there, but it kind of happened easily. And so I kind of sorted everything out and kind of, just planned it all. And I was in my room on the night that I'd planned to do the deed, and my dad came into the room and he just said, I just want to let you know that your mum and I have been praying for you, whatever decision you make, whatever you do in the future, we want you to know that we love you unconditionally, and nothing you do will affect that. And when he spoke to me, it was like, it's not just him saying that it was like something inside me knew that my dad was speaking the heart of God to me. And I just thought, he may not exist in my mind, but in reality I know that that's what he sees, that no matter what I did, no matter how stupid I was, no matter how many mistakes I made, God sent his son 2,000 years ago because he cared for me, and whatever I did, he'd still love me. And it was just like, that's ridiculous, that doesn't make any sense at all. But at that moment I knew it to be true. And one of the things my parents had been praying for was just that God would invade my logic, that God would make himself known to me in a real way. And it took me to get to the bottom of myself, to get to the bottom of just a horrible situation, for me to realise that I was nothing and I needed him. And so my dad left the room completely oblivious to what I was feeling, and I just broke down and cried. I knew the presence of God in that moment, and I can't explain that. I know it's not logical, but I knew God was real, and I asked him to be fully real to me and to change my life, because I was such a mess and I needed something to change. And he did. And I think the one thing that I would say to prove it, if any, I mean my life's completely different, but a physical sign that he gave to me is I used to harm myself, and I had all these scars on my body, and I wanted God to take it away because it was just a daily reminder of the mess that I'd made. And so I prayed, and I was like, God, I know that these will always be here, but I pray that you help me know how to deal with it, and to look at it as, okay, that was a mistake I made, but you still love me. But the next day I woke up and my skin was completely new. All of my arms, baby smooth, and everywhere that I'd hurt myself been completely changed. And I've got pictures before and after. And so there I'm like, no, can't explain it by logic, but that's fact. That God cared enough to not only fulfill my need for answers by saying he's sovereign, but also by expressing his love to me in a way that now every day I can look at this and just go, I'm a new creation, and what he's done for me has made me a new person, and it can't be explained, but it's the best, following God is the best decision I ever made, and I'm never going back on it ever. Ever. That's it.